Welcome back to another Coffee with Laura. That's me. But guys, I got a confession to make. I don't like coffee. I don't know why. I don't even like the smell of it. But also, like, everyone else likes coffee. And I kind of like feel left out sometimes. I want to like coffee. But calling it like water with Laura, like, who's really going to want to come to that? Besides me, of course. So I already feel so much better. But we can still keep calling it Coffee with Laura. And you guys can drink the coffee. Cool. So, in my opinion, this is a really important topic because I don't actually know if I could have changed if I didn't understand what I'm about to teach you today. Yeah. So, what I'm going to talk about is if you're not getting the results you want, does that possibly mean you're addicted to who you are? I'm going to explain that in 1 second. But as a reminder, how would I even know that? My name is Laura. True fact, I do not drink coffee, but I do work as a health and life coach. I started as a personal trainer and nutrition specialist, and I learned a lot. But as soon as I went to that health and life coach, I learned the inner workings of the body and the brain to such a degree that I had no clue, and it really enlightened me into what it takes to be as an embody a lifestyle of health. And today I'm going to tell you the number one obstacle, which is you being addicted to who you are. What does that even mean? Let me tell you, okay? So when we're young, we don't know how the world works. So we have these awesome people, typically they're our parents, who help us understand how the world works. And they create beliefs in our noggin to help us understand what's true about ourselves, others, and the world. Then at about age 8 or so, our frontal cortex wakes up. Oh, good morning. And that's where our mental filter is housed. Now, our mental filter, it's in the name, its job is to filter all the information we gather and choose what to absorb. But how does it choose? This is the sneaky part. It chooses what to absorb based on what we already believe. Meaning, our beliefs create our experience, and our experience confirms our beliefs thanks to our mental filter. That's why so many people are on there like, I am right. This is right. My way right. Because that is their safety loop. Being wrong is perceived as unsafe for a lot of people, as silly as that sounds. So that is why that is a thing. But it goes further. Again, addiction means some type of chemical something, right? So that's the baseline. That happens. Then that generates a certain amount of thoughts. And of all the thoughts we have, about 95% are repetitive, which gives us certain feelings. And when we get feelings that release energy that are called hormones, and as we practice that thought, feeling, hormone, over and over, our brilliant body that can automate anything and everything, which is why we are so fond of habits, does what it does best, creates some habits, and it creates a state in our body called homeostasis. So our hormones are the chemicals that are creating reactions or lack of reactions in our body. With me so far? So that is our baseline state of being. Now, if you try to change it, this is how we test addiction, right? Addiction speaks to a need, a necessity, a continuance of needing to be that thing or needing to keep doing that thing, not being able to stop that thing. Can you stop doing certain things that you've been doing? So let's, look at exercise. Why not? It's simple. A lot of people can start exercising, which means stop sitting on the couch is really the stopping behavior. And they do it for some time. Some people get further than others, but a lot of times 4, 5, 6 months later, they're back on the couch. That still means you're addicted to being you because we have this awesome thing called willpower. But if you're still going back to that habit instead of creating the lifestyle, there's a chemical thing happening in your body because it takes time for our body to chemically change. And as much as we might not like that, it actually works to our benefit a lot of the time. So that's our first loop, right? That's our safety loop, how we become beings. So when we want change, change is perceived as threat. So a different hormone is released. And they have a bunch of different names. I can't pronounce half of them. But if you're questioning or you want information about them, hit me up. My name's Laura. Shoot me a DM. I'll help you out. But the whole purpose of those hormones is to make us feel uncomfortable, provoking really uncomfortable thoughts, trying to get us back to regulating the first loop action so we can go back into the addicted pattern. Does that make sense? So let's say you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you check your phone. And you don't just look at like happy pictures, you look at like your email and like what you haven't been doing and what you're behind on. So it's like, morning, stress. And let's say a few months go by, you realize, something needs to change. New me, this is going to happen. So you're going to try meditating. This is what's going to happen. That's change. Your brain is going to be like, pew, 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 pew. The reason your brain is doing that is it's trying to get you uncomfortable. It's trying to make you frustrated. It's trying to aggravate you so that you will think thoughts like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I focus my mind? Oh my God, this is so stupid. I have better things to do. This is not worth my time. So on and so forth. All hoping that you will end said meditation and go back to the stress that it formerly knew. And ultimately, even as you engage in that pattern, you are feeding the stress that you previously were addicted to. So this is the part that's important. In order to break patterns, which also means build patterns. So if you want to build a healthy lifestyle, that means you need to break part of the unhealthy lifestyle, the comfort, the known survivable state that your brain and body already knows. That's the hard part, not the building part. If you can understand what's going to happen in your brain and know that you don't have to believe every single thought and that every single feeling you get might not be guiding you in the right direction, but might be guiding you back to its comfort, known, survivable state, you can be the authority. We talk so much about willpower, but we use it wrong. Our willpower to resist the comfort known cycle, but we think it's more about our comfort of going back to it to some weird degree. So when you're trying to break any old habit, you need to understand those uncomfortable feelings are your brain trying to get you back to a state that it knows. What you need to tell yourself when you're feeling that is, I need to teach my body and my brain that it is safe and survivable for this habit to become a regular part of our routine. Similarly, you're going to have really uncomfortable thoughts. You're not doing enough. What's wrong with you? You're such a loser. You're so stupid. Whatever your brain likes to say to you, that's totally mean and not necessarily true. You need to recognize those thoughts as bananas and see that these are the thoughts my brain is trying to make me believe in order to prompt me back to that thing that I'm trying to change. Here's the thing, guys. It's uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I'm not going to sugarcoat things because then you're going to get in the middle of it and be like, screw this, and you're going to jump ship. It's uncomfortable for about 2 weeks to like a really bad degree, from my experience and from what I hear from all my clients. And it takes about a month for it to become a little bit like, okay, like that's annoying. But the first 2 weeks are kind of crap. They just suck. The last 2 weeks are like, okay, that's enough already. And then after a month, it's like, all right, you're annoying, but you're here, fine. And it's more passive. And that's really about how long it takes if you're consistent in recognizing the cycle of your brain trying to keep you hooked on who you've been and changing that and understanding you're teaching your brain and body how to be safe in a new state. It's weird, right? So here's what I'm going to say. You need to understand that, you got to know it. I would not have been able to do half the things I've been able to do in terms of my healthy lifestyle. And quite frankly, as I continue to build healthier habits into my life, I now understand what I'm working against and can set actual realistic goals versus jump Mount Everest in a jump. Doesn't work that way, but my brain wants it to, So understand it's the breaking of the habits that make it hard. Expect to feel uncomfortable. And when you feel the discomfort, that is a good sign that you are in the right direction. So when you're doing that, don't try and change a bunch of things. Focus on one thing. It's going to be uncomfortable enough. If you make the threat feel so big by changing multiple things, it's just not going to work. You got to do one thing at a time. Okay. Second thing, recognize what you might even have to give up, what the cost is to the change you're wanting to make. So if you want to eat healthier, maybe that means you don't get to go sit on the couch and watch a movie every single Sunday with your family. Or maybe you don't get to go to bar class. Or maybe you don't booze for 6 hours, you only booze for 4. I don't know. You have to decide the cost. But if you don't realize there is one, it's not going to be a good part of the journey. Understand that you can't control this. Your sense of control is being able to wait for the uncomfortable feelings and the uncomfortable thoughts, trying to get you back to the comfort action and knowing that's bullshit and not doing it. That's the control you have. But the control we typically like is like controlling the outside world. You don't get to do that. Not really ever, but like especially not with this. So you have to let go of control and instead embrace curiosity. So when that's happening, is this my brain trying to get me back on that loop again? Is this me being addicted to me? Is this who I want to be in 10 years? If the answer is no, then you need to endure this at some point in order to change. You're already in it. Why not finish it now? You know what I mean? Now, I know this is a lot of information. You might be like, Laura, this is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And quite frankly, I'm still upset that you don't drink coffee. I'm sorry. I don't drink coffee. But if you are thinking this might be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, hit me up. Let's chat. Because, guys, I got this really awesome solution. It's called the Stress Free Healthy Me Team. And you get a whole community of people who you can just bitch to this blows, who else is in this discomfort. But you really get to break this addiction. You get to want to be healthy. Yeah, I said I want it. It's weird. It's awesome. It's true. And you actually want to eat healthy. That's the craziest part to me. To this day. Guys, I'm a vegetarian now. Not really by choice, more like my stomach chose for me. But either way, I'm pleased now. I made this recipe on Sunday that I am so excited about. I feel like I used to when like my husband would bring me Reese's from the store. Because I made a recipe. I used to hate cooking. What happened? The stress-free healthy me happened. Well, technically health coaching happened and then I created the stress-free healthy me. But you get the point. If you aren't getting the results you want, it's not because of you per se. It's because you don't understand what to expect. You don't understand the experience of what you need to go through in order to get to that next level. If I didn't already tell you, hi, I'm Laura, and I'd love to help you. And with that, I digress. Thank you for tuning in, for listening to me and my jibber jabber. I hope you enjoyed your coffee. I enjoyed my water, and I'll see you next week.